Alright guys, Mr. G here to make your life in Tales of Iron slightly easier. This game is like if Dark Souls had a very cute little rodent-inspired baby. It can be hard, but it's not that bad once you learn how to use what the game gives you. First of all, let's take a look at the map. You've got save places, you've got item reswitches, you've got life refill containers, you've got arrow refill, and you've got poison refill. These things are clearly marked for you on the map. You're going to want to save regularly in the game and make sure to save as close to boss fights as you can get. They're denoted by little benches or sparkly lanterns. You can find them all over the place. You've also got fast travel nodes which look like bulletin boards, really similar to the side quest mission boards. Those will get you all over the map. Now, one of the things that's really not explained well is gear, because you don't actually gain XP or experience, but you get tons and tons of gear. We got two categories. We got one-handed weapons and two-handed weapons for melee, and then a third category for ranged. And we have the option between sword, axe, and spear. Each one of those is going to have a different fight animation. You need to consider a weapon's damage, but you also need to consider its weight. All the different weights of your weapons will stack up to slow your character down. Now, one of the first things I struggled with figuring out was, what do the colors mean on the weapons? Well, you've got gray is common, then you've got light blue, which is rare, you've got purple, which is epic, and then you've got yellow, which is your best tier, legendary. So notice spears here. Spears are great for beginners because they have a long reach and are easy to use in conjunction with a shield. Axes tend to do more damage, but you're going to open yourself up to more attacks due to the animation when you're using an axe, and you've got to pause in between. So spear is really easy because it's going to give you thrusting, but axe is going to give you that great damage overall. Now, you can use swords as well, one-handed swords, but we're going to be looking at two-handers. Now, this is what you're going to do to get past shields and just do significantly more damage. Two-handed weapons will have a charge effect. This can break an enemy's block and or shield and let you get some attacks in. You can also do spear as a two-hander or axe, although spear has a different thrusting one, which is maybe a little bit easier to use, but I've really enjoyed the sword and hammer. Now, in ranged weapons, we have bows, crossbows, and eventually when you find the moles, you'll get to unlock firearms. These are really decent. You can fill them up with arrows and or shotgun shells throughout the land, and you can get a lot of those ammo back just after you loot a dead body on the corpse. Highly recommend using these for boss fights and or dropping mozzies or flying enemies. There's no sense worrying about saving your ammo. You can always refill it. Poison containers, which you'll unlock with rangers later, also really handy when fighting larger bosses. Now next I'm going to show you the difference between running a really light kitted out character versus heavy duty. So you can see we've got legendary tier items here that, it provides a little defense, but mostly it reduces our weight significantly. And the different armors, you're going to notice they also have different resistances. You've got mozzies, grubs, frogs, and for a brief little interlude you'll have moles. But those are going to be the main enemies you're going to fight. So you're going to want to pay more attention to the resistance to the kind of enemy you're going to be facing in your next battle than you do defense or even weight. So right now we're just kitting him out for a super light armor. And being able to dodge and roll this swiftly is super important because it basically lets you mitigate all damage. Any of those red attacks that flash red, you're going to need to dodge those. Alright, next up we're going to go full heavy armor, which will definitely increase your damage resistance. And hey, I'm not saying no to heavy armor. Granted, the one I'm putting on right now is a terrible choice because it doesn't have any resistances. However, it's got a high defense, it looks cool, and it's going to just let you guys show how much slower it is for dodging and rolling when you're kitted out with heavy weapons, heavy shield, heavy helmet, and heavy armor. Because every single item you equip stacks cumulatively with your weight. Just look how slow. Now, once you're rolling, you're safe, but the amount of time it takes to begin a roll and how slow the roll actually moves you will sincerely and genuinely affect your effectiveness in combat. Why I chose those adjectives just then, I don't know. It's been a long day. So, that gives you a little bit of an idea about how those different items are going to work. Next, we're just looking at how the resistances work. We have grubs, mozzies, frogs, moles. You're going to have a special set of fights for moles. I'll show you a little of that, but I really don't want to spoil it. You're like, who are the moles? You'll meet them soon. Hang in. They're there at the end of the game. Next, we are going to talk about combat. You're going to fight a multitude of different bosses. They will let you know and telegraph what they're going to do with different colors. That's an undodgeable attack. You just got to get out of the way. We're using grub resistance. This means you're going to get a projectile that you can block of some kind, so just easy to block. Make sure you have your shield out for that. Now, you can also block with your two-handed weapon, but just be aware that it'll be worse for projectiles. Now, bosses will project what they're going to do in a number of ways, but most bosses have 2 stages. Once you knock off their armor, they're usually going to do more damage and they're going to move faster. So you need to be aware of that. We're using mole-based armor from mole resistance here, also giving us nice speed. So really, the weapon and the kit that you're going to choose is really going to depend on how much easier it is beating certain bosses. This guy, we can use a spear, making our life easier. You can see we're using frog-resistant armor. Spears give you nice reach. I would say for a one-handed weapon, a spear is a great choice for newer players. Makes it much easier, especially if you can get a decent one early game. Well, if they're going to enemies, they're going to let you know that they're either going to do a jump attack with a circle that you can't dodge, or they'll be red. And they'll also telegraph. Notice the leaves out of the ground. They tell you where they're going to strike. So just look for clues from the game, and they're going to let you know what's going to be going on. Once, like I said, white means projectiles. And last but not least, this isn't explained super clearly. Once you collect food, you can make meals, which will improve your health bar. Guys, that's really all there is to it. Get out there and good luck in Tales of Iron. Hopefully now you're a total king and a total boss. If you like this video, please hit the big thumbs up button, and I'm going to catch you on the next one. Mr. G out.